Hi, I'm CJ Elmberg with Transwest Truck Trailer RV in Fredrick, Colorado. We've got a brand new stock combo sitting behind me here. These trailers are so versatile. Everybody loves them because of that versatility. You can do so many things with these. You have that front tack room. You can haul horses, livestock, toys, whatever you need to. So this is a 2026 Cimarron Lonestar 24-footer dual tack setup. Before we start walking you through and showing you all the cool options and features on this guy, let's go ahead and take a look at the drawing. I can show you some specs on it. 24 foot on the floor, standard height 7'1" tall, standard width 6'10" wide. This one's got a 5'6" short wall on that front tack room, but again, that dual entry that we'll show you here in a few minutes. But let's walk through the trailer. Cimarron all aluminum construction. You're gonna have an 8-year structure warranty, 3-year hardware warranty. You also have a tire warranty that we'll talk about here in a little bit. First and foremost, we'll start with the B&W coupler. It's rated for 25,000 pounds. More than enough for this trailer here, but they put this one on all their goosenecks as far as how they actually, equip these trailers. B&W, an American-made company as well. This is a great one because of this is about the 3rd generation, and what it allows us to do is it allows us to have this lower profile handle with one more hole drilled into it, and that allows us a lot of flexibility to actually move that coupler within that stem up and down, making sure this trailer is running nice and level. I'll touch on that here in a minute again. Underneath the gooseneck is going to be your this one here is an upgraded equalizer jack, the electric over hydraulic rather than a manual crank. This guy here actually has the manual override, so if we get into emergency situations, we could pump this on or off the truck. But boy, this is a nice setup as far as a combo goes. Let's go ahead and upgrade to that equalizer jack. It's already on there. It's always a cheaper option when we build the trailers this way than actually after the fact, just because it adds more cost. It takes a lot more labor. You're basically disposing of the manual crank jack, to where this one here, it's already got that on there. One of the pieces that I'm talking about is this spare tire. You notice that it's elevated, and on our 6'10" wides like this trailer here, it's elevated because the footprint of this jack itself is a little bit larger than the manual crank jack, so we actually have to relocate that spare tire. We try to, on a lot of our standard width trailers, actually mount this spare up high, just so if you go to upgrade to this setup here, this part's already done. It just adds more parts and labor if it's located down low. Wider trailers, it can go down low because the box actually pushes out. We have room, but that's why it's located there. You're also going to get an aluminum battery box. It's going to house a 12-volt battery. And then this guy right up here, this is an important piece. That is a battery disconnect. So if we accidentally leave a tack light on or something along those lines, we can actually go ahead and kill all power to this trailer by turning that knob to the off position, and it won't drain this battery down. So when you park this trailer, walk away from it, the last thing you do is turn that to the off position. The other thing you're going to get, this became standard shortly after the 25 models came out. This one's a 26, but on the 25s, a RedArc charger became standard with this setup. And that RedArc charger is going to do a couple things. Mainly what it's going to do is it's going to keep this battery nice and charged up. When you keep these batteries charged up, you give them so much more life and longevity to them. And honestly, we want to be able to walk up to this trailer and push this button and up, down it goes. So it's a true 3-staging charger. It'll also tell us if we have 12-volt power coming from the truck. So it just helps as an indicator and truly giving us status. Do we have power coming from the actual tow vehicle itself? It's got different profiles as well. So if you wanted to set up with lithium batteries, a solar package, something along those lines, you can go in and change the profile. But it's a really key component. It works as a supercharger is the best way I can explain it, because our trucks work as a trickle charger, 2 batteries, but very slow going. This guy here, again, will keep it nice and charged up at an optimal level. So I talked about that gooseneck coupler. Here's another piece. This gooseneck drop wall from the bottom of the box to the bottom of this gooseneck, 50 inches is standard. We like to build ours 53. And the reasoning why is because the newer truck styles, all their bed heights are so much taller. That's just happened over the last 10 years. They've really gone up in bed height. So it's really hard to get bed clearance and get trailers running level. Pay attention to older trailers with newer trucks. They're either running level
with minimal bed clearance, or they're nosed way up, run on the back axle to get bed clearance. Well, we want both. We want trailers to run level for equal weight distribution, but also that bed clearance. Nobody wants to tear up the bed on one of these real expensive new pickups. So this is a 53-inch gooseneck drop wall height. So it gives us the ability to, you know, take that coupler and get it set where we need to. Again, setting up the trailer to pull how it should down the road. Now, the dual tack setup. This is by far the most popular tack setup over the last couple of years. Because let's be honest, you got two sides of the trailer, you're gonna be tying horses on both sides of this trailer. Why not work off of both sides? So as you can see, I've got the doors open. We can see through the trailer over to there to driver's side. So the setups are gonna be mirrored. So the first thing is gonna be this nice big 42-inch wide door with a 4-tier blanket pull rack on a gas shock. So we can hang blankets, pads right here. We got a window there so we can keep some air circulation going. Brush tray on the door so we can throw those brushes, your fly sprays, your hoof picks, all of those little items right in there. It's amazing the items you find in those brush trays, but they are dang handy to have. On the 42-inch wide door, you're gonna get a fold-up step. Anytime we have front tack rooms in general, we like to put steps on them just because it's a big step getting into these tack rooms based on that lower door frame, you know, itself, the actual jamb itself. See where I'm standing up to here? That is a big step. We're gonna be carrying items in and out. So why not make it a lot smoother transition and easier? Fold up step, making it easy getting into these tack rooms. The swing out saddle rack is in right now, but as you can see, I can walk in very easily. And then when we swing this guy out, I still have room to get in between, you know, the saddle racks themselves with saddles on them and the door jamb itself. That 42-inch wide door comes into play here for a couple reasons. One, I can move in and out of the actual tack room with this swung out, or this gap right here. A lot of competitors will run a 36-inch wide door. 42 is an extra 6 inches. So you cut 6 inches off of this, and big saddles hanging on this are gonna drag on this door frame. And that's not what we want. Swing out saddle rack, 3 saddle pads on this guy. These are adjustable too. So I can loosen these nuts, slide them up and down, put them where I want them. I can add more if I want. I can take them out, whatever you want. You have that flexibility. But 3 on this side, and then on the other side, it's gonna mirror, but we'll really show you, you know, you'll see it in here. It's directly behind me, but I'll show you it swung out when we get to the other side of the trailer as well. Rubber on the floor, not carpet. We're bigger fans of the rubber rather than carpet on the floor because that carpet will hold stains and odor over time. This is a lot simpler to clean, and then again, you don't have to deal with that. But then you're gonna have a 12-inch boot box that goes across. This guy here is a great catch-all, again, almost like that brush tray. Maybe it's some tire changing equipment, maybe it's just smaller miscellaneous things that you don't want rolling around. Give them a place to stay. You can throw that in there. It goes about 2/3 of the way across the gooseneck drop wall. Works as a great, you know, bench if you're hanging out in here, or a step when you're hopping up into the gooseneck. So it's carpet on the gooseneck drop wall and deck. And then up in the gooseneck, you're gonna have a couple windows, same thing. Ventilation, you can see out, so if you're throwing a bedroll, a mattress, you know, anything like that, spending the night in here, it's nice to have that to create cross breeze, but then also see out. Over on the left hand, that driver's side, is gonna be a tray that's gonna house our plexiglass. So this is stock sides with plexiglass inserts that I'll show you, but we can take that plexi out and I can set it in that tray. It'll fit in there. So rather than throwing it up here on the deck where something could get thrown on and break it, let's protect it a little bit more and let's give it a place to just be up and out of the way. So you have that there. You're also gonna have a shelf, 18 inches deep, 2-inch lip with a clothes bar. So we can throw hat cans, you can throw some other items up there, you know, hanging clothes, garment bags. We don't have to tie up space in the back of the truck. We can hang that stuff right here. If you're showing off the trailer at an event, something like that, and you need to change, you can easily hop in, clothes are right there. Maybe you're spending the night in it. So you've just got a lot of flexibility there. This is framed for an air conditioner.
So if you wanted to add an air conditioner, you'd have to add the power package, but you could still add a, camper style manual crank vent or a 12 volt vent, because you have 12 volt power because of the jack already, but it's the same footprint. And again, the bracing's already there, kind of like I showed you with that spare tire. It's already elevated. It just is going to save a lot of time and hassle and cost if you're looking to upgrade some of those items. LED lights above both doors. So when you come in, you've got light coverage. These are big OptiBright lights, a lot of light, not a big power draw being LED. And then there's also switches at each door. So no matter which side you come in, you can turn these lights on. On your partition wall, fully carpeted, and then 2 rows of bridle hooks. Those are aluminum powder coated, so they're really stout. But that carpet will also protect the wall, but also protect, your tack. So if you got head stalls and bits, those type of things that are gonna move while you're driving, it's gonna be against carpet, not against those aluminum sheets. And then behind that saddle rack is gonna be a 25-gallon water tank. It's gravity feed, so you just fill at the top, empty at the bottom. It comes with a hose. I always recommend put a ball valve on that hose, and you can actually attach it to the bottom and actually sit outside the tack room and actually fill up, buckets right here from the trailer. It's great during summer months. It's really hot. Maybe you have a horse that only likes water from home, but mainly, you get to places and maybe the hydrant's it's a long distance away and nobody wants to pack buckets that far. So it's nice to be able to just fill them up right here at the trailer. White is standard as far as the sheeting goes. This one here has been upgraded to the charcoal metallic. This is a very popular color. Really ties in well with a lot of the color packages out there in the truck world. But I love it too, because it's not just like the black, where black will really show dust. This guy here will kind of hide some of that, having the metallic flakes in it. In direct sunlight, it's going to be like a real dark gray, that good charcoal. And then if you get it in the shade, it's going to darken up a little bit and look a little bit more black to it, but it is that charcoal metallic. So really popular color option on this trailer. Okay, you've got a 16-inch awning light up on that top rail. So you have a light on each side of this trailer and the rear, so you have plenty of lights on the outside. So again, either side you're got horses tied to and you're saddling, unsaddling, whatever you need to, you've got the flexibility to have that light coverage right here. And then there's those 2 rows of plexiglass I was telling you about. So this is a slant wall, so we have 2 different lengths of plexiglass. We have a short wall and a long wall. So this is I showed you that tray up there. What you want to do is you want to take out, say, passenger lower right here. Tape it together and write it on there. Use like masking tape or painter's tape so it won't leave that real sticky residue on them. But then do the same for the upper, and then go over and do the same for the driver's side if you're taking all of it out. By doing that, you will save so much time and hassle when you go to put the plexiglass back in this trailer, because now you know where it's going. Without it, it's a puzzle that you don't know the picture of. So you're trying to put it together, but you can't tell where things go. So again, by doing that little step, I know it takes a little bit of time, but believe me, the amount of time trying to figure out where the plexiglass goes and not knowing where it goes, believe me, it's maybe 5 minutes versus a half hour. I've had to do it on some used trailers. It is not fun. Tie rings on the outside, we can add more. So there's 3 on each side, but anywhere there's an upright post, we could add more if you'd like. So if you need more tie spaces on each side, we can take care of that. We have 2 7,000-pound Dexter rubber torsion axles on this guy. Electric brakes, so tow vehicle needs that integrated brake controller or an aftermarket. We could help you with that with an aftermarket if need be. But you're getting the 16-inch aluminum wheels, kind of that silver with black accent to it, which really ties in well, I think, with the extrusion and then that charcoal metallic sheeting that we looked at. And then you have Goodyear tires on this guy here. I mentioned a tire warranty. You have a 1-year, no questions asked warranty on these tires, not through Cimarron, through the vendor that they use, Lion's Head, for their wheels and tires. But if you catch road debris, have a blowout, you have a nail that punctures the sidewall and it can't be patched,
they'll go ahead and replace it from the date you purchase it, 1 year, no questions asked. So it's really nice to have some warranty, you know, behind the trailer, not only from the manufacturer, but for wheels and tires as well. All right, at the back, there's multiple options you can go with on these back gates. This one here, we opted for 50/50 rear gates. On this one, they're independent. As you can see, they got kick mats on both of them. There's kick mats all the way around in the stall area, I'll show you, but they even have them on the back doors here. 8-inch awning light at the back. So again, just like on the side, just a little bit smaller back here. And then rubber bumper that goes on the bottom down there. If you wanted at a rear ramp, we could do that. We might have to order it in the color match, but we can do that to where if you prefer a ramp load, maybe your horses do, maybe where the toys comes into play, loading those, it'd be a ramp over. So we could remove that rubber bumper and do that. Hay racks can be added. There's a lot of items our parts and service department can help you out with after the fact. Now, in the stall area, it's a stock combo, so center cut gate. Center cut gate's on a slant to match that partition wall, and it can store out of the way. It's actually got a slam latch catch on top, and it's got a foot for that gate to rest on. That is important because if this is open while you're driving, it doesn't have that rattle. It's not going to move up and down because it's resting on that foot and pinned in. But on top of that, this one's also got a stud divider ahead of it. So you can use this first compartment. Maybe it's for extra feed, bedding, miscellaneous items, or you specifically want to put a couple horses, you know, ahead of that center cut gate and still give them a little bit of separation. These stall sizes are 39 inches. So the center cut gate is 6'6" off this partition wall. Again, matching the slant, but that is the same size as the actual stalls in the slant load trailers. So we tried to keep it the same from that standpoint. But you've got these slam latches, not only on the center cut gate, but on this divider. It's this cast aluminum piece that's powder coated. Everything has a radius, everything's nice and smooth. And then you have this heavy UHMW plastic paddle latch. So when you shut these guys and you're driving, it's not metal to metal, creating a lot of noise and clanking and banging in the actual stall area. So keeping it a lot quieter. But just like the recessed paddle latches, everything's smooth, everything has a radius. So, you know, animal safety is first and foremost. So when we're touching items, I mean, you put your hands on everything, the upright posts, everything, nothing is sharp. Everything has a radius to it. Couple more LED lights. You have one towards the back, one towards the front. Those are going to kind of split that center cut gate, so you have in each compartment, you've got one of those big OptiBright lights in there as well. Again, kick mat all the way around. Even over on head side, and on head side between the two air gaps is going to be a tie rail. So this tie rail, we can tie horses up, maybe even calves up if we need to. But if you have the plexiglass still in the trailer, we can't throw a lead rope around our upright posts. Well, we've got the tie rail that we can utilize for that. The roof is standard on every single Cimarron. It is an insulated roof. So versus aluminum sheeted roofs out there, it will keep this stall area 20% cooler. That's because it's, again, insulated, but it's got a R3 thermal value. It's got a gel coating. It's white on top, so it's not, you know, aluminum where it really conducts that heat. It's a lot quieter for the animals as well because we don't have that metal to metal contact, but it's also extremely strong versus aluminum roofs. This is a 1/2 inch thick. It's a reinforced honeycomb design, so it'll take 150 pounds per square foot. So when you walk on this roof, you know, it won't dent. It'll take substantial hail as well, so it protects your investment, you know, as far as that's concerned. When we flip to the other side, you got rubber mats on the floor, but what's underneath is the industry's best floor. Okay, it's a 12-inch extruded deck piece. Locks in high and low like tongue and groove, but the center points, those I-beams that go across, are every 4 inches apart. So wherever we have a horse standing or calf standing, you know, on the floor, they're standing on one, if not two support beams. So, you know, starting off with the strongest foundation, strongest floor in the market, and then building up from there.
But really good setup in here as far as the stall area goes, because you have that flexibility with the stud gate, with the center gate. And then again, our back gates. Behind these, you can probably see them on the top rail right now, but you'll see them here on these rear posts. Our back tail lights on this guy have this white X in the middle of them. And that white X is actually a backup light that's built into the light itself. We were continuously putting on a lot of our inventory backup lights because, let's be honest, I mean, our truck lights get blocked, you know, by this trailer and the length. So when we throw it in reverse, that white X will light up. It'll indicate, so we have backup lights back here at the tail end of the trailer. I've never heard a customer complain about having too many lights or too many of these type of light options on their trailer. So that is standard on these Cimarrons. Again, you can throw a hay rack up there. Again, a lot of items we can do after the fact to these trailers, even though they're here on the lot. Another 16-inch awning light. So again, one on each side and one at the rear, and then you have your stall lights as well. But it's nice to have those lights out here, again, working off either side of the trailer. Then you're actually gonna get a chest bar that goes across the opening here. So if we do have some horses actually stalled in this first compartment, and we open up this access gate, it'll make sure they stay in there for you. Again, it's nice to have this because maybe, again, you're just utilizing that for some storage. You know, you get somewhere, maybe you need to get some feed, maybe you need to get stalls ready, you need to get that bedding out, and you can access it from that gate in that first stall and keep it, you know, horses loaded before you get them unloaded and get everything situated. And then on that dual tack setup, again, it's mirrored. So this side, 42-inch wide door, 4-tier blanket pull rack on a gas shock, got the window, and then a brush tray. So again, the same setup that we saw on the other side of the trailer. And then again, swing out saddle rack. You know, again, I can still move within the trailer with the saddle rack in, and then I can swing it out, and then again, I still have space getting in and out of the actual tack room itself. Fold up step, again, those are so handy. Again, we really try to utilize and put those on about every tack room we can in our inventory. So I'm going to give you the stock number for reference. Again, it's a 2026 Cimarron Lonestar 24-foot dual combo, 5N 250447. We do take trade-ins, so if you're looking to upgrade or downsize, we can help you there. Delivery is an option, so we could potentially bring it to your doorstep, and financing is available. So give anybody on the sales team a call. We can help you out. That number is 303-684-3400. Appreciate you tuning in. Have a good day.